So I'm here to talk about big data analytics on the Google Cloud Platform, how we do things. And I know big data, the term has become a little bit cliched, but I promise you we do things a little bit differently. My name is Tino Tereshko, and I'm a big data solutions guy at Google. But I do have my humble beginnings in the financial industry. I was actually a clerk running tickets on the Chicago Board of Equities for a couple of years. That was fun. And that's my email underneath. So let's talk about big data. According to Wikipedia, big data is defined as data sets that are too large and complex to manipulate or interrogate with standard methods or tools. I highlighted large and standard because those are very subjective words. Just the other day, I was meeting with somebody who thought that data that doesn't fit into an Excel spreadsheet is big data. So there's many ways to go around it. And so Google had its own big data problems as it was growing up, as it was building Gmail, as it was growing YouTube, search, maps, all these massive services. And so Google has built out some incredible infrastructure at Google. We spend right around $2.6 billion every quarter on our infrastructure. And that's state-of-the-art data centers. That's our global secure fiber network, our essentially unlimited storage and CPU resources for our big data problems. There's a quote that says that some of the networking equipment that we're manufacturing ourselves for use for Google itself is replacing our own manufactured networking equipment that is better than anything you can buy on the market. So that's kind of the scale that you're getting used to at Google. And so once we have this infrastructure, we're able to solve big data problems a little bit differently than anybody else. And I'm sure most of you are familiar with some of these things, like Google File System and MapR, which essentially became Hadoop a couple of years later. And then things like Bigtable, which essentially became HBase, Cassandra, and so forth. And it goes on and on and on, things like Dremel, things like Colossus and Dataflow. So this is only accelerating. Google is designing a lot of stuff. And it takes a couple of years for things that are at Google to kind of make it out to the open source community, to become available to you folks to use. And it could be 5 years, it could be 10 years. Well, that's changing because in January we announced, that's our CTO of Google, announced that everything that Google builds is going to build on the Google Cloud Platform. Essentially, Gmail, Search, YouTube, they're all going to be cloud customers. So with that, what you'll get is all of these tools that Google is building for big data and analytics are going to become available to you folks in the near future. And two, everything that Google is building going forward is going to be available to you folks immediately. So you don't have to wait 1, 2, 5, 10 years to get all this cool stuff. And I'm sure some folks here are asking the question, well, hey, Gmail is reading my email and, serving me ads and stuff. I don't really trust Google. Well, you may not know this, but roughly 80% of the Fortune 500 companies has their earnings information, very, very sensitive information, right, sitting on Google Cloud Platform through this company right here, Web Filings. So if Web Filings can do this, then it's no question. So to be practical, these are some of the things that we have available right now for our customers. And we don't really have time to go in there, so I'm just going to run through a couple of the use cases of the kind of scale that some of our customers have seen. The first one is MapR, which is a Hadoop shop. What they did is they took a minute sort record, which is essentially a benchmark on how much data can you sort in 1 minute. And they fired up about 8,000 cores, about 1,000 servers or so on Google Compute Engine. They ran some MapR jobs on Hadoop. They broke the record in 1.5 terabytes, and that cost them $16. The previous record holder, they built their own data center. They put up their own OpenStack and their data center, hardware, all that stuff, networking. And that cost them about $5.6 million. So it's a couple of orders of magnitude of difference of what you can do on Google Compute versus kind of like the old methods. Now what I want to talk about is Motorola, what they're doing right now. Not necessarily a financial use case, but it's still pretty interesting. What they're doing is they're instrumenting every single mobile phone that they have into telemetry data and battery charging data and so forth, and they're running analytics on it through BigQuery SQL. The interesting thing about this is the scale at which they're doing it. They have 20,000 terabytes, 20 petabytes of structured data available through SQL analytics sitting in there. They didn't have to do anything special to do it. They just utilized BigQuery. And they're running about an exabyte worth of analytics in SQL every single month. And they're ingesting about 2 million rows. So these numbers are kind of unheard of. To wrap it up, really, if you guys want to check it out, you can enter promo code FinDEVr to get $500 in Google Cloud Platform credits, to play around with it, to check it out, build your own application. That's probably enough money for that. And you can always reach me for some questions you might have. Thank you.